So the next poet is going to be Will. Will is served in the Air Force from 2006 to 2015 as an aircraft mechanic. Currently, he's going to school at Cabrillo College for photography, and you can see some of his photography at the Veterans Memorial Building from a recent project where he photographed 1% of the veteran population in Santa Cruz County. Will started writing poetry with the Veterans Poetry Circle in 2017. He also works with the Veteran Services Office under the Work Study Program and volunteers with Vets for Vets. Please welcome Will to the stage.
Hi, I just have one poem that I wrote last year with the Circle in 2017. I used to be a bomb loader, and so this is more of just me trying, just talking about bombs falling out of airplanes. The title is Arming Loop. Arming loop is something we used to attach to the bomb. It would actually arm the bomb as it left the aircraft. So arming loop. As the bomb ejects from the belly of the mother, she plucks the arming loop like a pacifier. Out of the mouth of an angry infant, the baby unleashes screams, discontent brimming with enough energy to level a city. Thank you.
Thank you, Will. Our next poet is going to be Michael. Michael served in the Marine Corps from 1966 to 1968 with the Artillery Division. Michael deployed to Vietnam in 1966. Michael is an artist who specializes in multiple mediums, including paint and ceramics. He is originally from Mountain View, California, but now resides in Santa Cruz. He enjoys walking the beach, sharing a hearty laugh, and playing his hand-built ceramic drums. Please welcome Michael.
Wow, thank you all. It's so hard to get up in front of all of you. But you're all like brothers and sisters, or you wouldn't be here. When before I read the poetry, when I first came home, there was no one to talk to. I didn't open up until I was 56 years old. And now at 74, I'm opening up more. So many of my poems reflect war. Those that don't still carry a thread of war. So my first poem, 1968, Dirty Looks, because I'm a vet. Agonizing war. Agonizing home. Life alone. Triggers gone. Campfire burning. Meal in my skillet. Shelter in my tent. I find my wrap. Have a smoke. Gently, I find forever. I'm grateful that I didn't find forever. Glad I'm here. So my next poem is called War. Winners and losers. Can everybody hear me? Okay. Oh, okay. War. Winners and losers, a wedding party, an ammo run. She in her white dress, me on my pile of bombs. I gotta turn these down so because feel like I'm shouting. My Lebanese grandfather led the wars in 1904. Destination, the United States. Now I am here through how many wars? Gas guzzlers, coal burners, atomic bombs. One day a week. Don't start your car. Stay home. Help a friend, your spouse, your child. Where was I anyway? Oh yes, war. As a combat vet, I think combat vets have two different sides to them. We have the side where we can visit, and we have another side that we keep to ourselves. So this is called psycho-self. Psycho-self on the mountain. I see my daughter smiling. We dance while psycho-self sleeps. Tiptoeing out, I arrive again on the mountain. I see my daughter smiling. We dance while psycho-self sleeps. This is a little bit lighter. Kindred spirit. I found a kindred spirit in a tree, in a bush. A butterfly brushes my face. A kindred spirit. Continuing my walk, reaching shelter as it rains, warm myself at the stove, listen, extend my hand to the drops, heaven sent, moisture met, I feel you are here, kindred spirit. Night attack. Cascading downward, the air hot and humid, hands and arms cut, sleep deprived, confusion. I wake to the sound of an incoming rocket. It was my first night off in weeks. So tired, I check my rifle, I close my eyes and sleep. I want to say something, but I guess that's enough. One last poem. This one's called Poet. Poor peasant of a poet, empty pages, empty life. I need a word, lest I scrape my knee, my hand, my face on your shores of razor blades. Cascading time itself, I find myself on cradled shore. That's it. A word, cradled. Cradled, I write, filling pages, filling life.
Thank you, Michael. Our next poet is Chris. Chris served from the years of 1957 to 1969 in the Navy as a general medical officer in Vietnam and was the battalion surgeon for the Marine Unit 19. After being discharged from the Navy, Chris went on to specialize in psychiatry and worked with veterans in private practice and then with the PTSD clinic at Menlo Park, and also served as the clinical director of the psychiatric department at the San Jose Clinic. He continues to volunteer in the veteran community as a peer support for the Veterans Treatment Court and with the Santa Cruz County Veteran Services Office. He lives in Aptos with his husband Andrew and 3 standard poodles. Please welcome Chris.
Hi, well, thank you all for coming. Really appreciate it. I'm going to read 3 poems. Basically, when I got back from Vietnam, it took a while for me to even realize that my symptoms of PTSD were actually symptoms of a really serious issue. I accept them as normal because they were normal in a combat area. First time I realized they weren't was afterward. I'd been in San Diego. I was working with the Indian Growth Center, which was an alcohol program run by American Indians for American Indians. We went on a trip. We got up to the Northern Cheyenne, and Jim Blackwolf, who was the spiritual leader at the time, the keeper of the hat, we were going into his house. He took one look at me. He had never seen me before, and he said, "You know, stop. You were in a war, weren't you? You were in Vietnam." And I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, before you go in, we have to go through a ceremony cleansing you." And it was the first time I said, "Whoa, something may be going on here." Went through this whole thing, and I felt really different afterward. But it took me a long while to deal with the combat issue. And then recently, I started dealing with some of the medical stuff through poetry and writing. So the first one is something that took place in 1968. The NVA had taken over Hue. I was at Phu-Bai, which was next door to Hue, and all the casualties were brought from Hue to Phu-Bai. And basically, I did a lot of stuff with what was called triage. So this is something about triage. This is the boy behind the screen. Mass casualties. Dirty, smelly, broken bodies. The copper smell of blood. Triage. Those who will live, those who will die. Those who immediately go to the operating room, those with minor wounds treated. Those we cannot help put behind screens. After all the sorting and work is done, when everybody leaves, I go behind the screen. There's a boy, a Marine. His head's crushed. No hope of survival. But I can't let him die alone. I will stay with him, hold his hand. He cries for his mother. I tell him, "Okay, I'm here." I become his mother until he becomes quiet, until he's dead.